I want to talk about Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers. As I record this video, this team is currently on a bye week. The next time we will see them, they'll be facing the Kansas City Chiefs. And that's going to be a huge test for Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers. But they have won their last two games. They have definitely taken a turn for the better. But I want to more so talk about Bryce Young in this video. Bryce Young, the last two games, you'll say, hey, they're winning games. He must be performing at the next level. He's starting to develop. Bryce Young has not looked terrible since they went back and they made him the starting quarterback. Part of the reason why he's a starting quarterback with the Panthers, yet again, is because Andy Dalton got into a car accident and he hurt his thumb. We've seen Bryce Young start the last three games. Against the Denver Broncos, it was not pretty. Now, if you watched the game, you guys know he did not do much. He had a touchdown, first drive of the game, did not do much in quarters 2 through 3. He did go out there late in the fourth quarter in garbage time. He came away with a touchdown. But on the day, he was 24 of 37, 224 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns to 2 interceptions. And he only averaged 6 yards a throw. That's a common theme so far with Bryce Young since he has become the starting quarterback with the Carolina Panthers since he got benched. They're not letting him do much. And part of that is because Dave Canales is sectioning off parts of the field. He's only allowing Bryce Young to only throw 15 to 20 yards. That's it. That's the deepest that Bryce Young is going to throw. Every now and then, you can see him try to target deep down the sideline to a guy like Xavier Legette, like how they did against the New Orleans Saints, but it's very rare, especially since he's become the starter again. I feel like Dave Canales does not have that full confidence in Bryce Young just yet because of how bad things went sour early on in the season. Because we do have to realize this. Bryce Young was not playing well, and he is still not playing like a franchise quarterback. I'm sorry. He's playing good enough over the last couple of games. Against the New Orleans Saints, he did have an interception, but that was not on him. It was a deep throw to Xavier Legette. The cornerback takes the football out of his hands, and it goes for an interception. I think the NFL should have ruled that as a fumble instead of it being an interception, because I'm telling you, if you don't watch these games and you just go back and look at the stats, you'll say Bryce Young has a turnover problem. Not in the game against the Saints. He played very efficient, 16 to 26, 171 passing yards. And against the New York Giants, 15 to 25, 126 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown. He only averaged 5 yards a throw against the New York Giants, and he only averaged 6.6 yards a throw against the New Orleans Saints. So he's not throwing the football deep down the field on a regular basis. And that's okay. What is not going to be okay is when this team goes against elite level competition and they take the run game away and they try to force them to throw the football deep down the sideline. And I will say this, the wide receivers have not been the best over the last couple of weeks. Jalen Coker is a very good wide receiver. We see the potential with him and Andy Dalton, and he continues to get better on a weekly basis. He's an undrafted free agent rookie. It's a great story. You look at Xavier Legette, first round pick. He is still raw in his development, and he's been a very good wide receiver. But these guys are not going to go out there and be true number ones just yet. That's why the Carolina Panthers went out there and they traded for Deontay Johnson. And they saw the season take a complete left turn. They traded him to the Baltimore Ravens, which was an excellent trade for both sides, by the way. The Carolina Panthers are getting something for him instead of nothing. And Adam Thielen has been out the last couple of weeks dealing with a hamstring injury. And I'm concerned about him. The last time we saw him play was against the Las Vegas Raiders. And he was awesome in that game. And I think that's the key. Bryce Young eventually has to go out there and make the elite level throws. Just because he's playing good enough right now does not mean that Bryce Young looks like a franchise quarterback, because he doesn't. Bryce Young had to go out there and put the team on his back in certain drives. And I do understand against the New York Giants, he did that, and credit to him. It was a lot of drops in that game by Jalen Coker and also by Xavier Legette as well. They both had 5 drops combined. So you don't want to see that happen. But they're rookie players. Just like how Bryce Young is going to miss throws, drops are going to happen. But Bryce Young has to continue to develop into the right situation. And I feel like over the last couple of weeks, you can see the potential. He started to trust his offensive line. Remember, this kid had no time in the pocket last season. And he was dealing with the terrible offensive play caller, Frank Reich, and also with Thomas Brown as well. The offensive line was abysmal. That's why you bring in Damian Lewis. That's why you bring in Robert Hunt to come in and help out the offensive line. And this is one of the better offensive lines in the NFL. He's not dealing with pressure as much, and he's not getting sacked as much either. He's getting rid of the football at a quick rate. but I want to see him continue to improve and then eventually look like a franchise quarterback. Because at the end of the day, the Carolina Panthers, to be real with you, they're going to stick with Bryce Young for at least one more season. Because when I look at the rest of their schedule, there's some winnable games for the Panthers. Even though their defense has been bad this season, they're playing better because they're getting healthier. DJ Wonnum has come back. Jadeveon Clowney, if he can stay healthy, he's an okay pass rusher. He's not a top pass rusher in the NFL, but he's fine here and there. So their defense is going to get better because they're getting healthier. And they have more defensive problems right now than they have offensive problems. I would love to see Bryce Young go out there and look like how CJ looked last season and look like Jaden Daniels right now. But to be real, a lot of quarterbacks come to the NFL and it just doesn't work out. And I'm not saying that's the case with Bryce Young. But Bryce Young has a top offensive line. He has an amazing running back in Chuba Hubbard. The wide receivers are developing. You just want to see more out of Bryce Young. Well, I just want to see more out of Bryce Young moving forward. He's doing what the coach is asking him to do, but they're going to have to expand his playbook. Because this season is a wash. They're not going to make the NFL playoffs. They're too behind the 8 ball. They're behind the 8 ball by too much. They can't go out there and go on a crazy run and make the NFL playoffs. The Atlanta Falcons have this division on lockdown. But to see them win the last 2 games, that's very impressive. And that's a very good sign for Carolina Panther fans. Even if you take Bryce Young out the equation, like I mentioned before, Chuba Hubbard has been one of the best running backs in the NFL this season. The man is averaging 5 yards a carry, 6 rushing touchdowns, 818 rushing yards on the season, and you just gave him a long-term extension. They're going to move off of Miles Sanders after this season, which is a blessing because he's been a complete bust. He is not a good running back at all. He's just an average running back at best. Jonathan Brooks, they were hoping that he was going to be able to play against the New York Giants in Germany. That was not the case. But he's expected to go out there and play against the Kansas City Chiefs. You're now going to have a dual running back tandem in that backfield with Chuba Hubbard and also with Jonathan Brooks, and it helps slows the game down. And that's the one thing with Bryce Young as well. Last year, Chuba Hubbard was good, but he wasn't running like this because the offensive line was terrible. It slows the game down for Bryce Young. He can work off of play action, and it buys him enough time as well. And against the blitz, he's not flinching inside the pocket. Despite his size, he can see deep down the field. I just want to see Dave Canales call more deep shots and for Bryce Young to work on that accuracy. They're going to give him more time. And there was a lot of reports that came out that the Carolina Panthers, they want this to work out. Look at everything they gave up to go get Bryce Young. But he has to ball out for the rest of this season and also into next season as well. Because I don't see the Carolina Panthers going up there and trading up to get a quarterback like Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders. To be realistic, they're not going to draft Shedeur Sanders because of the whole Deion Sanders situation. He already came out saying he's not going to let his kid go into a terrible situation. Even though I do believe the Carolina Panthers offense is not bad. I like the wide receivers that they have. I like the offensive line from tackle to tackle. Even with Austin Corbett being out, you have Brady Christensen at the center position. You have Ickey, left tackle. You bring in those 2 big guards like I mentioned before, Taylor Moton at the right tackle position. So you have a good offensive line. The receivers continue to develop. You have JT Sanders at the tight end spot as well. He's developing talent. So this is a very young football team. I just wish that Bryce Young will work out. And there's a chance that he might. I will also say this as well. If you're still skeptical of Bryce Young, just like me, I will say this. Some quarterbacks take longer to develop than others. I understand this is not the early 2000s and the late 90s to where we now give quarterbacks 4 to 5 years to figure things out. It seems like we give them a year or 2, then we throw them away. But we'll see if Bryce Young can continue to develop. The accuracy looks better. The game is slowing down, and he also has went out there and he's showing a lot of emotion. I will say that when Bryce Young was throwing interceptions against the New Orleans Saints, he showed emotion. Now he's just out there. He's not throwing a tantrum, but you can see him basically getting upset when he misses a pass or when he goes out there and he takes a dumb sack. And that's okay because he cares about it and he doesn't want to get benched again. I fully understand. And I don't think that he will get benched again in favor of Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton went out there and he did his job. He showed you what you had with Deontay Johnson and Adam Thielen and with Xavier Legette as well. He helped those guys get to the next level, and Bryce Young benefited from it, from seeing him on the sideline. I really wish that the Carolina Panthers did not push him out there his rookie season because he could have really sat back and just developed that 1 year, and this could have been a true test for him. And you definitely could give him 1 more year after that. Do I think that Bryce Young will be a top 5 quarterback in the NFL? I don't. I don't see it, not right now. But can he be a serviceable quarterback that can go out there and possibly help you win games here and there in game manager situations? Sure. I compare him to Jared Goff and Trevor Lawrence. Jared Goff had a terrible rookie season, just like Trevor Lawrence. And year number 2, they took the next step. Unfortunately for Bryce Young, he was not able to take that step early in the season. But on the back half of this season, he might. Just continue to give him time and just let things roll into the favor. When I look at the defense is only going to get better. Like I mentioned before, you have Josie Jewell, veteran, linebacker, Jadeveon Clowney. I can't wait for them to move off of Jadeveon Clowney. I'm not the biggest Jadeveon Clowney fan personally. I understand last season he had 9.5 sacks. That's on the loaded defense with the Baltimore Ravens. And a great system. Geno Stone went to the Cincinnati Bengals. He had 7 interceptions last season. He has 1 interception. I believe that Jadeveon Clowney is just a system pass rusher. He wasn't able to have that much success with the Houston Texans, and he was playing alongside J.J. Watt, one of the best defensive players in NFL history. But you do have something with DJ Wonnum if he can stay fully healthy. J.C. Horn, of course, is one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL. If you was to ask me right now what they should do in the NFL drafting in the first round, you could possibly trade back and get some more draft capital. But if you don't want to do that, get a guy like Mason Graham. You already have Derek Brown. He has missed majority of this season dealing with a torn meniscus. But Derek Brown's one of the best defensive tackles in the game, and he's fully healthy. You bring in a guy like Mason Graham. Those are 2 game records, and you can cause hell in this division. I think that you do that, and you continue to hope for the best with Bryce Young. But let me know in the comment section below, how do you guys feel about Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers moving forward? If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, want each and every last one of you guys stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for watching the video, guys. God bless. Peace.